Yo, what up, guys? Ooh. Welcome to episode 2. Technically, it was supposed to be episode 3, but, you know, technical difficulties, of course. But, finally got an SD card. That's actually was bothering me yesterday. And it should be a full, concise video, not a clip of 10 to 15 minute videos now. I was going to upload another one, like I said yesterday, but unfortunately, my phone just started messing up. It was just too much memory that I was using. So today I got a 64 gig SD card. So I should be good to go. Most likely I'll just upload these to the cloud or something, or to a separate storage device. That way I can keep giving you guys, you know, I think I'm going to stick with 30 minutes. 30 minutes is not bad, at least to start. But for sure, once I get more accustomed to it, I'm gonna do more than 30 minutes. I just want to make sure this is good. Okay, good. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do more than 30 minutes with time, but around 30 minutes is where I'm gonna keep it at for sure. At least the beginning stages. Once I get more people, or at least guests, then of course there most likely will be longer, just because it's easier to keep a conversation with someone else than it is with yourself, kind of talking to the screen, to somebody that's technically not there, you know. But yeah, man. I mean, holy shit. I'm pretty much gonna talk about what I talked about yesterday, since it's a freebie. Sorry, it's a little cold out here. I'll try to warm up. But hell yeah. Yesterday I was talking about my youth. Kind of talking about what happened during my middle school years to kind of high school years. Lived in a small town, and it's not much to do in a small town, you know. But like, do drugs or have sex or video games, TV, kind of average things. Not really like, it wasn't ever really like a place to hang out, or a mall. We had a mall that was, it was the size of a strip mall, an indoor strip mall technically, and there was maybe like at one point in time when it was big, I guess you could say big, it was like 5, 6 stores maybe. Now I think it's completely broken down, especially because of COVID. But even before that, everything was just kind of falling apart. It was definitely not. It's not a very. Wasn't a very. What am I thinking? God damn it! It's gonna happen a lot. I guess it wasn't a sustainable business model, because it was the same fucking stores. We had the Hibbett Sports, we had the Sears, the J.C. Penney on the opposite side. For whatever fucking reason, they're always on opposite sides. No matter what mall, mini mall or strip mall, any kind of fucking mall you go to, they're always on opposite sides, like they're feuding and shit, like the Bloods and the Crips. And then, of course, we had like a little jewelry store and a little restaurant that had okay food. The ice cream shop, Bath and Body Works. And that was kind of it. There was a separate store, for whatever reason, was on the door was on the outside, and that was City Trends. It's kind of like where people try to get their shit to be trendy. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, that's what it was. It wasn't bad. It was something to walk around. It was something that gave old people a spot to kind of walk around inside and power walk, so they don't lose the ability to walk or whatever. Don't smoke, kids. But anyway, that's where I grew up, and yeah, man. I mean, it was interesting. I did move around a lot when I was younger. I lived in Dallas. I lived in Little Elm. I think it was maybe Galveston. I don't remember Harlingen, San Antonio, Loretto. I think, and there was a few other places that I just don't remember just because I was too small for whatever. I lived in Mexico for a while. That was fucking fun. The That was pretty fun. I like Mexico, but back to whatever I was talking about. Um, yeah, man, there was a shit to do. You know, it was kind of it was good and bad at the same time because you had no choice but to um, hang out. Not really hang out at the house. There wasn't really shit to do. I mean, cable at the time. I didn't have Netflix at my age. I don't think it was big at that time. Uh, Hulu was barely coming up. YouTube's been big since I was, since the 2000s. So YouTube, of course, but being in a small town in a rural area, there's no fucking internet. AT&T barely gets a fucking bar over there. So, all we usually do is we're all hang out and shit. Um, I remember specifically, um, I had a big lifestyle change as a kid. Um, I went from living in a neighborhood where there wasn't really a lot of kids. My age, there was maybe like one guy, and he liked being inside because he had internet. You know what I'm saying? He's like, "Fuck outside, bro. I'd rather stay inside and be my meat to shitty porn from the 2000s or whatever it was." And it wasn't even that early. It wasn't even 2000s. It had to be like fuck 2008, 2009, maybe 2010. Um, yeah, maybe 2010, 2009, around there. And I moved to another neighborhood. At the time, mom was single, so we kind of bounced around that small town for a little while, trying to figure out a good spot to live. And we settled on this spot called Sandyland. Now, Sandyland was special. Reason being was Sandyland had about 10 guys that were practically the same age, which means we're gonna do dumb shit. When you put boys together, you're always thinking of something to do, and it was definitely a good mix of kids. All of us were Mexican, you know. It was a Mexican neighborhood for sure, but we all kind of dressed a little different. We all kind of hung out with different crowds for sure here and there. But after we got out of the bus, you go home, eat, change, whatever you got to do, and we don't hang out. We meet at a friend's house. My boy, shout out to my boy Chewy. I don't know if he happens to see this episode, but I have a shout out to my boy Chewy and to his wife. I'm sorry, I can't. Man, I've known you for longer. I'm sorry. Gabi. Oh, I got you. My bad, Gabi. You know, shout out to them and his family. Hope they're doing good, whatever. But yeah, man, that's usually where I would go directly to. He was definitely my best friend. I still consider him a very close friend, even though we don't talk a lot, due to life or whatever it is. Sorry, I'm talking a little fast. I'm fucking cold. Um, I don't like doing it inside. I don't like smoking inside. I don't like smoking bud or anything like that inside. Um, it's an apartment. I don't really, I don't want to fucking that shit sticking to the blinds and the walls and the fucking cat sniffing all over the place. Not comfortable. I'd rather just be in here. It's like 1 in the fucking morning when I'm recording this. My girl's asleep. Everybody else is like got to go to work in the morning. I Uber. You know what I'm saying? I can wake up at fucking 5 in the afternoon. Fuck it, let's kick that bitch on. Let's make some money. But yeah, man, it was a fun spot. We all hung out in the day, played soccer, shit like that. Um, Very ironic. I guess coincidentally, Sandy Land was actually an actual spot where most of the ground was dirt. Not really dirt, kind of sand, kind of mixed in with dirt, but it was, I had to say, it had to be about 80% sand, um, with about 20% dirt. Just enough dirt for grass and shit to grow or whatever on the sides and ditches and shit. And yeah, man, I always came. I remember coming to his house. We'd all kind of hang out and talk about, angsty shit. Whatever who we liked. You know what I'm saying? Who we didn't like. Who we had crushes on. Just regular middle school kid shit. Uh, yeah, man, playing soccer. Sometimes we played football here and there. A few of us had PlayStations or Xboxes, whatever fucking. We'd all come together and swap out remotes whenever we got our asses beat, whatever the fuck it was, man. It was a great childhood at that point in time. It was really fun. Um, but what was a big lifestyle change at that time was not that I was surrounded by a lot of kids. It was really that at night. That's when the mood changed. We would go out and we'd be drinking, especially on the weekends. Not really on the weekdays, of course. We still had to get up, 6 in the morning, get our shit ready, and go to school. But especially in the summer. But in the weekends, it was always a party. There was always somebody throwing a party, and most people knew each other at that time. Most people were cool with each other in that neighborhood. It was kind of like, hey, I'm gonna throw a party, so everybody brings. If you happen to come, bring a shit ton of beer. They'd have a tub that was like, 4 feet big, 3 feet tall, maybe 4 feet wide, filled with ice water, and you know, packed to the fucking brim with beer, mainly Bud Light. You know what I'm saying? Which when you're a kid, you don't give a fuck. Now I can't touch fucking Bud Light. It's just tastes. It tastes horrible. It tastes like water. I'm not a big beer person, especially because my beer stage was definitely when I was younger. Now I fuck with more like with sip tequila a little bit here and there. Not a big alcohol person, but at the time I was. I had my own shit that I was dealing with, and and yeah, man, it was fun. I remember every Friday, uh, it was an age where we were turning from 14 to 15, which means most of the girls in our grade were turning 15, which for those that don't know, there's these things called quinceañeras. They're pretty much the sweet 16 version for Mexicans, practically, or Latinos, whatever you want to say, Latinx, whatever the fuck you feel comfortable with. Um, yeah, man, we would always go there, and there was two or three big spots, right? If there wasn't a party in Sandiland, there was definitely a party in these spots. Two spots in particular that were really big. One was called Caliente, which means hot, and it was just a big ass warehouse with shitty ventilation and a small little stage where some fucking dude that just deleted, got shit off LimeWire or whatever the fuck it was, and played music, man. And you know what else are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? We figure out how to get a little bit of beer here and there and shit like that, and really just drink, man, and just drink and chill and party, man. And I was a big dancer. I'm big now. I definitely can't dance the way I used to. I got bad knees and shit. My ankle hurts if I run too much. But yeah, man, it was pretty cool. It was definitely really cool. Um, Blackout drunk Fridays and Saturdays. It was a usual at 13, 14. Um, and then waking up on Sundays. And usually on Sundays, a bunch of people would get together at a specific soccer field, and we'd just play games, man. And we'd wake up, we'd be hungover as shit. You know what I'm saying? We'd be fucked up. I'd still probably be drunk or dehydrated as fuck, And my boy Chu would just pick me up, man. He'd be pounding on my fucking window. Hey, get your bitch ass up. We're late for the fucking game. We're always late for the fucking game. You know what I'm saying? We'd be hauling ass through some dirt roads trying to get to the fucking soccer field. But man, it was a fun, man. I gotta say, it was fun. Was it destructive? You know what I'm saying? Did my liver start hurting this shit by 10th grade? Yeah, but man, what else is there to do? You know what I'm saying? But have a good time, get fucked up, party. It's just what you do in a small town. Not sure what what kids in the city did. I definitely lived in the city, but not at an age where parties were starting to come up and shit like that. So I didn't get to experience that. Um, yeah, man, it was fun as fuck. I mean, it was a tight group. I got lucky where I happened to move schools when I moved to that one specific spot, and coincidentally, my boy had just moved from Florida not that long ago, and so everybody he was trying to get kind of settled, um, and I was trying to adjust going from one middle school on one side of the town. It was Here's the thing, it wasn't a small town. It wasn't that small of a town, but it was enough to have two middle schools and then one big ass high school. And I was in one, of course, and since I changed the area, of course, you got to change. I had to change middle schools. And yeah, I think that's where we really bonded. He was cool as fuck, and yeah, man, I just happened to get lucky where a lot of these guys were they were pretty popular in school, and just by association, people started fucking with me. Um, just because I was friends with these guys, and they were like, "Oh shit, well, the new kid's cool with, all these guys." I don't know if they want me to say their names. I don't even know if my boy. I didn't even say his actual name. But yeah, man, it was fun as fuck. My boy Manny. We'd all just hang out, man, and have a good time. Um, that was all I kind of did around that time, from like seventh to maybe ninth grade, halfway through ninth grade. My mom was never actually home. Uh, she worked at one of the chicken processing plants, and her shift was a night shift. So by the time I got home, she'd be heading to work, and I distinctly remember like most of the time as I'm walking up the hill to get to the house after the bus dropped us off at the end of the road. Um, yeah, man, like I should be driving down the hill. I just wave, "What's up?" Say bye. How you doing? You know, be safe out there, and she left food for me and my younger brother, and then after that, we just fucking go out and do what we did. It was no supervision at all for me, and they had very good freedom because we all mostly just stayed in the fucking in the neighborhood. So we were all just running around, man, doing some fun shit. Uh, Definitely getting destructive though. I think sophomore year is when after I moved and everything. Um, yeah, man, it was rough. Uh, In fact, it got so bad. My drinking and kind of addiction to getting drunk and partying got so bad that a friend of mine, actually, another guy that I knew that definitely didn't party, definitely doesn't party now. He's a fucking, he's a Christian. He's a Pentecostal. The ones, where the women wear the fucking jean skirts and everything. And he invited me to church, man, and I really gave it a shot. Um, it was a big shock to my friends since they had known me for 3 years, and Uh, all I did was party, get fucked up, blackout drunk and shit. But even at that age, I recognized that the shit was it was destructive. So I had to change, and I had a big pain in my heart for a few reasons. Um, Probably get into them in future episodes if I feel comfortable. Right now, shit starting. I don't know if I'm really, I'm giving this a shot for sure. Trying to give it the same dedication that I did while I was streaming. While this channel was a streaming channel, so I'm trying to do this every day, kind of getting used to it and everything. Um, so yeah, definitely in the future I'll talk a little bit more. Right now I'm just kind of trying to think of shit to say, kind of refiltering what the second episode was about. Um, but anyways, yeah, man. I mean, then I started going to church, and it was a completely different life, and it was very hard for me to stop partying. Um, Definitely in the beginning, like on Wednesdays, Tuesday. It was weird because that church, it was practically having mass, not really mass, but they had different things going on. Like Monday it was whatever it was, and Tuesday was Tuesday mass, and Wednesday was something else, some kind of teaching or some shit. Thursday was mass, I think. Friday was like the youth or whatever. And when there wasn't parties, that's where I was at. So I was living two lives, trying to get better or um, get better. Definitely by going to church and trying to dedicate myself to God or whatever it was, and then on Saturdays if there was a party and I got invited, well, fuck, it was it was hard not to go. It's hard not to go and enjoy myself. Um, so yeah, it was weird. It was weird living two lives. Going to church. Eventually, I actually stopped partying. I really went 100% balls deep into what into the church, and doing this and doing that, and trying to do better. For sure, trying to do better. Um, I had a lot of shit that I was fighting with at the time, internally, like I said, due to some circumstances. And yeah, man, it was rough. It was rough, and I really tried for a long time, and saw a lot of crazy shit. You know, saw a lot of. It was a type of church where you know where you see in like videos and shit like that, or like maybe a few movies in there. Where the pastor would like put his hand on the guy's head, and the fucking people start shaking and doing all this stuff. It was a big shock to me when I first went, honestly, because all that shit happened. It was natural for them, and of course they're not gonna change just because some new guy came in. And it was definitely a big shock and stuff. And I remember him warning me, that friend of mine, warning me, man. He's like, "Listen, man, it's my church is different. It's not like regular mass. It's not like it's a lot more lively." And I think that's what really put me away from the Catholic churches over there. um, it was very boring, and they seemed like they were enjoying themselves. It wasn't just a religion, something that you do so that you don't burn in hell. It was definitely something that, like, oh, this is what we do. This is who we are, type of deal. And yeah, man, for like sophomore year, junior year, a little bit of senior year, I went in deep, and I really tried to follow the word of God and everything, and not watch movies, not listen to music that wasn't Christian based and everything. And my senior year, I kind of decided, man, this isn't really for me. Um, my personality is not. It just wasn't suited for it. Um, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I think that church is great. Um, every church has its flaws, right? But this church was pretty fucking lit. It was pretty good. They had events all the time, and the youth was really like, um, wasn't really forced to do anything. But it was definitely encouraged upon to kind of go to Saturday and kind of everybody hang out as a community. It was definitely a community. I think that's what I'm trying to say. It was a community, and it was good, man. It was good for a while. But for sure, it wasn't. It wasn't. It just didn't feel like it was for me. It felt very oppressive. Even if it was fun. Even if it wasn't really people, getting all up in your face about whatever it is. It was. It felt oppressive. I think our religion feels oppressive to certain kind of people, which I think puts them off to a certain extent. So for me, it wasn't it. It wasn't it. I tried it. I really, really tried to go for it, and it didn't feel right for me. So, you know, and of course, around that time, I had gotten a girlfriend, and we started doing some shit. What young people do. You start fucking and sucking and doing whatever, after school. Um, which is fucking crazy. Like that. I had a lot of crazy experiences when I was younger. You couldn't ride the after school bus unless you had a note. Um, but at the same time, whenever I started dating this girl, they were doing a program for the freshmen that I was friends with. A few of the freshmen there that actually, when I had eventually moved in sophomore year to another neighborhood, and there was still around the same amount of kids um, that are around the same age. It was definitely a little bit more diverse in the ages, but we all hung out the same way and met at a specific person's house or at a specific spot and just kind of hung out all day. It was the same thing, and yeah, I was friends with my ex is actually one of my closest friends that I still know to this day. I play video games with all the time. My ex is cousins with that friend of mine. We're still friends, you know. And so yeah, I don't know where the fuck I was going with that. Hold on, hold on. Where the fuck was I going with that? Where was I going with that, bro? Fuck. I don't want to rewind it. I don't have the technology to really rewind the shit. Shit. Oh yeah. Okay. So I had a girlfriend and shit, and yeah, I mean we couldn't really do much because my mom was always working. She had actually met a guy that she's still married with now, and he's cool. Um, he was definitely the polar opposite of the way my dad acted. Uh, he wasn't as charming, I guess you could say. My real father was actually like he was really funny. He always cracked jokes. He loved hanging out with people and making friends. This guy was kind of the flip side. He definitely was a lot more to himself. He didn't really like going out and shit. And I think that's what my mom wanted. My mom wanted something the opposite of what my dad was, and she definitely got it. And I'm very like my personality is kind of like my dad in a way, so we didn't really vibe a lot. Um, we kind of tolerated each other for sure. Um, but yeah, man, I don't really vibe with him. It is what it is. Um, yeah, man. I mean, it was okay, and as long as my mom's happy at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, she's gonna be with him, for the rest of his life, for the rest of her life, whether I like him or not, it's not really my decision, you know. And where was I? I keep getting out of my bad. I keep getting out of fucking track. Um, yeah. So that girl. So at the same time, I was really starting to think that this wasn't for me. I started dating somebody that was um fun to fun hang out with for the most part. Um, you know, I had my demon, she had hers. It just so happened the way that we vibed together, it was very toxic, and I was kind of got enveloped, and we both kind of created this very negative space behind closed doors. Um, Not really showing it to everybody. To everybody, we seemed like I want to say the perfect couple, but it was a good couple, a couple that didn't seem like was gonna break up at all. Type of relationship that starts in high school and doesn't end. You know, after high school. Uh, so I kind of got enveloped in that, and okay, so the after school shit, right? So he was a part of that program. There was an early college program that, um, if you stayed after school and did a specific type of bonus shit or something like that, you got credits for college. You got college credits, so it kind of helped you get a head start. There, it kind of helped you get a head start in college after you graduated, and it definitely gave you good marks. Those people definitely, it was a lot easier for them to get into better universities and things like that. And so yeah, so they had this program where people that were older, above a grade than the freshmen, if they were really good at whatever it is, math, English, history, they could technically tutor or help tutor those kids, the early college program kids, and being slick and shit. You know who I am, who I am. I convinced the school that I was one of the best English fucking tutors or whatever it is, and she convinced them, or I kind of helped guide it to where she was a math tutor and I was in English, and there wasn't really any structure to the after school bus. You know, once I got a pass to go the first time, I never fucking went again. You know, I stayed in the classroom for maybe like once, I think, maybe a few times here and there throughout the course of the year. But most of the time, there's a park right by us with a lot of woods. We got to fucking, and it was fun, man. It was fun. It was fucking fun, and it kind of took me away from the whole church thing, and which I already was before I even dated this girl, was already starting to have my doubts and was starting to kind of separate myself away, and yeah, man. I mean, it was if I could go back, I'd definitely not date that person again. Um, but I think it was crucial in my development of and kind of my maturity of being in a relationship and seeing what I did like and don't like. I think you have to get your heart broken, and you have to go through a toxic relationship once, just so you can see what it's like. Because especially when you're younger, maybe you don't have to if you just don't date till you're like fucking 25 or whatever, or you're just emotionally more mature than I was for sure. I think a lot of people are. Um, yeah, you gotta you gotta fuck up a few times. You gotta break a few hearts. You gotta get your heart broken a few times to really see what you like and what you don't like. What's okay for you, what's not okay for you, things like that. And that relationship, as destructive as it was, it really helped me see what I wanted and what I didn't want in a relationship. I guess an example would be like just one day, whatever for whatever it was, I sent her, we were texting and shit in class, and yeah, like I sent her a kiss emoji, and she sent me one back, and I kind of kept it going. We kind of kept it going throughout the day, and it was cool. I thought it was a day thing, a first day, just one of those days where you're just extra affectionate, I guess. And the next morning, I'm texting with her, and I'm not doing emojis. And, she starts going, "Are you okay? Are you mad at me? What's wrong?" And every time I wouldn't send a kiss emoji or a heart emoji, whatever the fuck it was, or babe or love or whatever the fuck, she thought I was mad at her. So, you know, it kind of, she was very smart in the way she manipulated emotionally, as I was, too, in my own way, whatever it was. And so, yeah, like from that day, just randomly me doing that, just to be show a little bit of affection. Um, sorry, save the video. Okay, sorry, there was some kind of notification. Hopefully, it doesn't cut off. I don't think it will. I don't know if there's a time limit on my phone for whatever reason. Hopefully, it's not, but I'll definitely keep an eye on it. Um, but yeah, it was oppressive. If you're not comfortable with that, and you don't want to do it anymore, I didn't know how to communicate it, and I definitely didn't want to hurt her feelings, so I just kept fucking doing it, even though I didn't feel like it, and it was like a small oppressive thing, and I guess I don't know if it's a good example or not, but it's kind of an example of the way our relationship was, where on the outside it seemed like everything was cool because we're always sending emojis to each other and whatever the fuck it was. But on the inside, it was kind of like if I didn't do it, she would start kind of like feeling bad, or she would feel like shit about herself, or whatever it was. Um, but definitely, I broke her heart. I'm the one that ended it. I actually graduated, and I very very prophetically, I got into welding. So I actually started welding, I think, in junior year, sophomore year. maybe freshman year, but I doubt it. I highly doubt it. It had to be sophomore for sure. I got into welding class. They had a few manufacturing jobs in there. They had auto shop and whatever else. And I chose welding, and there was a welding company there that made. Um, there was one side that made like chicken cages and shit like that, and the other side made 18 wheelers, flat, the flat ones or the logging trucks, stuff like that. That kind of stuff. That's what they made there, and I remember passing by and I said, I'm gonna fucking work there. That's gonna be my job. That's where I'm gonna work at. That's gonna be my first job. And I kind of cursed myself throughout high school because I kept applying for places. I never fucking got a job. But right after I graduated, I actually went up and talked to somebody at the front office, and they were like, "Fuck yeah, man! Like, we'd love to get you here." They tested me, and I had learned how to weld pretty well. We had a pretty good instructor. Um, Towards the end of the of my school years. In the beginning, we had another guy that was definitely older, and he wasn't paying attention. And throughout most sophomore year, I mean, I was skipping classes and shit all the time, and that was like a 2 hour class. So fuck it, like fuck it, like I just skipped. He was always in his office, and they'd be like, okay, well, make sure you keep running these beads and be careful and blah blah blah. And he just kind of threw you into the shop, and you know, kids are fucking fighting and shit in there, talking about bitches or whatever it is, man. And it was weird because I was the youngest guy there. I was one of the few guys that was like, fuck it, I want to do welding, and all the guys were older. I mean, they were already doing shit that I was too much of a bitch to do at the time. They were fucking, they were partying every night, and they were smoking. Smoking. I didn't actually smoke weed till I was 21. Actually, um, yeah, they were doing all that shit. They were practically grown ass adults. They look more adult than I did when I was at that age for sure. But they were still goofy. They're still 18, 17. So they were still really goofy, and it was really fun hanging out with them. And they were definitely a bad influence. That was the reason I was skipping actually, and trying to stay warm. They were definitely the bad batch of their class. Coincidentally, the coolest, you know. And so I hung out with them, and so that time we weren't really doing much. He was really mainly focused on the older guys. Me, I was just kind of doing my own thing, welding here and there, cutting shit, grinding shit, hanging out, chilling on my phone, skipping, whatever the fuck it was. Um, but the second guy actually, he was a good teacher. We actually built an entire trailer, a food trailer, for this guy, and another group was building a deer stand for this other guy. All those funds went towards the welding class and equipment and hoods and MIG welders and this and that. Um, the other guy was mainly focused on stick, so I learned how to do stick very well. But by the time the other guy came in, he was like, "Yeah, nobody really fucking does stick as much anymore. It's more MIG now than stick." And so that's what we learned to do. And you know, so by the time I went to that job, I knew what the fuck I was doing. I knew how to cut perfectly, weld well, by school standards. Of course, I wasn't at production level standards. But they put me in an easy spot in the factory where I would just kind of build the forks for those logger trailers. God bless whoever the fuck were driving those. Cause I didn't fuck them up, but they weren't my best welds in the beginning. But I'm just a cog in the machine at that point. And, people watch my shit and made sure that I wasn't fucking it up. But yeah, I got really fucking good at welding, and that was my first job. And I actually went all around and did every single thing. So what you did was the big beams in the center; those weren't made. You actually had to make those to a specific. The center web had to be a certain amount of thickness, depending on what kind of um, trailer it was, and the heavy bars had to be a certain way, and there was an automatic welder that would actually do that one. And but the neck, that part I took care of. You had to actually physically bend that thick ass half inch, quarter inch piece of metal, maybe an inch for sure, somewhere around there. I don't remember. It was years ago. And I did that, and then after a while, I kind of got interested in actually building the welding it together. And so I did all that shit. We put axles on it. We put the fucking thing where the fucking trailer hooks to it. The little fucking thing where the dude's fucking spinning it and shit. The little stands. I did all that shit. And after a while, I'm a young guy. Of course, corporations are gonna take advantage of their youngest members, and at one point or another, it takes four guys on each corner of the trailer to pretty much do the trailer. And they pretty much had me doing it all by myself in the front, while they had one guy that was doing it for like 3 years already or whatever it was in the back with another guy that was just as fast. And they were fucking me over. And that was the beginning of a lot of jobs that I fucked over. I remember specifically I left at lunchtime. I got tired of it. I just said, fuck these guys. And I just fucking left, man. Like, I just said, fuck it. Like, deuces. I ain't doing this shit no more. And I went up to the same guy that I went up to the first day that I tried to apply there. And I just told him I bullshitted him. I couldn't think of a good excuse, and I didn't have the boss to say, hey, I don't feel like working for y'all. Y'all keep fucking me over. And I just left lunchtime. Said, fuck it. And yeah, pissed off a lot of my coworkers. But I never fucking saw them again, to be honest with you. I saw one here and there, and they said what's up, whatever it was. They would tell me how the guys were pissed off that I just left them in mid-lunch. But, at the same time, they were fucking me over left and right. They were making me, work a two-person job for the pay of one. You know what I'm saying? I was getting paid like $12.15 an hour, which by welding standards ain't shit. By small town standard, it's okay. It's decent pay, but it wasn't what the fuck. It wasn't worth what the work I was doing. And so eventually I said, fucking, I did that spot. And but actually, while I was welding and everything there, I was still dating this chick, and not being with her every day, and not walking her to class every day really cleared my head and made me realize that this wasn't the type of relationship I was in. Her family, her close family, her parents and shit were like fucking. I'm not gonna get into it. It wasn't good. It wasn't a good family I was married into. It wasn't a good girl I was married into at the time. I don't know what she's doing now. Hope she's doing better. Hope she got the guy that she wanted, whatever it is. But yeah, fuck that. Broke girl's heart, and fucked over a whole company. After that, I kind of did jobs here and there. I worked for Coca-Cola. Didn't like it at all. It wasn't until I stumbled on the spot. Shout out to the Patterson people. Shout out to. I don't want to shout them out yet. I don't know if they want their names out there, but they were cool as fuck, and I worked there for years. I think a good 4 years there, and there's where I discovered the Joe Rogan Experience, and I really started listening to comedy and shit. This is what the second episode was about why I moved to Austin. And I guess I did a long way of explaining why I moved here, but I just saw the freedom that all these guys had because they did what they wanted to do. They talked to who they wanted to. Joe brings on Tom Segura and Bert, Joey. That's where I met Joey. I fell in love with fucking Joey. Shout out to the church, to Lee, fucking soldier, the Christ killer. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to them. And they were cool as fuck, man. And it really had me realizing that a 9 to 5 job isn't for me. Is it easy for me to do? Yes. It's a comfortable job. It's an easy, that job was easy as fuck. I really didn't do it. Towards the end, I was just a forklift driver. I was just driving around bullshit and listening to podcasts, you know, listening to music. I had an easy ass job. I definitely left the easy life, I hadn't done a routine, go to work, get out of work by like 3:30, 4, sometimes 5 or 6 if we had to do overtime, and get off, go to Planet Fitness, work out and shit, and smoke weed after that, and kind of hang out and chill with some friends. And as much as I loved all that, I didn't want to. I didn't want to stay in a small town. I wanted to experience something more, and you know, me personally, I wanted to experience something more. I know some people look down on people that work those kind of jobs, or people that are just cool with just living a normal life. Um, and I respect that. I got a lot of friends that are doing that. They got a kid. They're living an easy life there. They're living a better life than I am. I mean, all I'm doing is fucking working. I wake up, go Uber, get home, hang out with my girlfriend that I've been with for 6 fucking years since 2014. 2014, 2015, somewhere on there. And 2014, she's gonna be pissed off when she hears this. Where's my fucking drink? There it is. Hold on. It's just drying the fuck out of my throat. Good ass. 7-Eleven Replenish Zero. The shit, bro. Buy one, get one free at 7-Eleven. Anyways. Yeah, man. I mean, I wanted something more. And coming here and realizing that I can do a lot more, I had a lot more opportunity. You know, could have done a podcast over there. I could have done streaming over there if I just moved into the city, got fucking, what is it? Suddenlink, and got some good ass internet. But at the end of the day, what drove me to move here was to do comedy. And, it's what I dreamed of every day. Every day I'd be at work and I'd be like, one day I'm going to be as big, hopefully, as these guys, even if I'm not as big as fucking Joe Rogan or, by my standards, Joey Diaz at such a fucking incredible level that the dude makes you laugh without even trying. You know what I'm saying? Like, the shit that this man says is amazing, and it really blew me away. Um, like, you could just have a career and making people feel good. And at that time, definitely, I wasn't in a good spot. All the bullshit that happened to me when I was really young, around the age of 10, it left me really fucked up, and it was kind of an out for me. Um, so yeah, that's why I moved here. And for the first year, honestly, I haven't done shit. I went up a few times, and the culture shock was so big, and I was so fucking broke when I got here. I mean, I had $200 after I paid, the deposit and the rent that I split with my girlfriend because we both moved here together. Some fucking ghetto ass place that had shitty ass. I mean, I got there and the fucking AC was already leaking. You know what I'm saying? The plugs weren't working. It wasn't a good spot. In fact, um, the guy that was here in the first podcast, you know, he's the witness. I'll ask him when he comes on again. Um, yeah, man. I mean, the day I moved out, right under the stairs was a big ass pile of throw up, and right in the center of that was a big ass piece of shit. That thing had been there since that morning. People, they always walk through the maintenance people and the front desk people, and nobody cleaned that bullshit up. Nobody, nobody did shit. That's how bad this fucking place was. Drunk guys always pissing in the dark corners that weren't well lit up in the apartment complex. It was shit, man. It was really shit. And but it was something I really couldn't afford at the time, and so all I did was Uber. Those of you that do Uber, or in case you're interested. Sorry, my bad. Best time to do Uber is like fucking, is like, you know, it's around the time where open mics are out. And so that was kind of a cop out for me. Once I moved here, though, when I moved here like around July, August, I definitely went hard for a few weeks. Right now, I'm a little bit in debt. So I'm trying to pay shit off and really work longer hours. And I haven't gone out, but I'm definitely going back out again. And I think this podcast is going to help me not cop out as much. Um, I think that's what I'm going to do. I think that's how I'm going to start this podcast. Um, just tell you what happened in this open mic. Was it 1 out of 10 or some shit, right? Last time I went, it was a fucking 3. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't that good. Why? I mean, there was nobody there. You know what I'm saying? It was nothing but open micers hanging out. People fucking far away from the stage or whatever it was. But, um, but yeah, man. I mean, that's why I moved here, and that's why I'm here with my boy. He's doing his own thing creatively. I don't think he wants me to talk about what he's doing at the time. He's got his own plan, so I'm not gonna, you know, talk about it. That's him. But yeah, man, it was the shit. It's the shit. We live in a better spot now. Not a lot of fucking mainly white people in here, but they're cool as fuck. Um, yeah, it was it's a good time, and things are getting better. You know, I have more time to stream. I have more time. I moved over to Twitch. For those of you that do want to follow me, I appreciate a follow. I have 0 followers right now, but at least I get one viewer a stream. That isn't me, you know. So yeah, man, it was cool. It was cool. It was really fucking cool. Now things are getting better. Um, and yeah, man, I'm here. I'm here. I'm here to do what I want to do. What I dreamed of doing when I was forklift driving, when I was working at a foundry, you know what I'm saying, around people that have destroyed hands because they got their hands stuck in a machine, or, you know, their arms are burned because a piece of hot metal happened to splash accidentally on them, right? Supposedly the most safe company in Nacogdoches, which is, shout out to Nac. Um, Fuck Nipco. And yeah, man, it was. I'm here to do what I want to do at the end of the day. So I hope you guys enjoy this podcast. I'm actually gonna live stream after I drop this. Probably longer than an hour. So by the time this podcast ends, I'll probably still be streaming online. So yeah, I think this is where I'm gonna cut it off. Um, Thank you for the 19 subscribers. Thank you for the guy that got me to 19 subscribers. I went from like 8 to 19, and like he just shouted me out on his stream. Keep doing what you're doing, bro. You're definitely gonna be a big streamer. I support you. And thank you to all the subscribers that are here. And I hope for the other ones that do come in, that I hope you stick around and really watch this podcast. Go from being me behind these Christmas lights to hopefully a studio, or you know me behind other shit. Me actually showing my face. And yeah, man. I hope y'all have a good one. And have a good rest of your week. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.